Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Mark and this is Mark's Coding Project. Welcome back. This is video number 31 and this is our API video. So in the last tutorial I talked a little bit about how to create a window using jframe. I'll leave a link for that. And in today's video we're going to be creating a similar sort of program. We're going to be creating a window. However, we're going to be creating that window using the lightweight Java gaming library. So right off the bat, I'm going to come clean and say the lightweight Java gaming library is clearly not the most efficient way of getting this done. As you can see, there's this huge list of commands that we've got to do in order to get all of this code to set up. So, an API is definitely out of the question. However, I thought I would talk a little bit about it, a little bit about some of the key, a little bit of the documentation that I've read at least. I can talk a little about the key features and that kind of thing, and then hopefully this might be something we can return to in the future. This is, if you're wanting just like a Connect 4 progression or whatever, this isn't really relevant to that because this solution is not going to be used, but it's a nice little thing to know about. So for starters, you'll notice the huge list of dependencies that we've got. So we're using about 3 or 4 different libraries in order to allow this code to work. The first major thing that you'll find when you try and create a project like this, I struggle with this, is that once you've imported all of the jars from the lightweight Java gaming library that you need, there are still internal ones that can't be seen. So, lightweight Java gaming library .glfw may have some specific dependencies, but those dependencies might not be listed here. So what that means is that this class, callbacks for example, might list I don't know, .org.lightweight Java gaming library .glfw.glf. Oh no, so we'll say GL12. We'll just, something random. But that isn't listed here. However, if we try and run this code without having that imported, even though all of our imports are fine and we won't get any errors in our main, all of this will be fine. All this code is absolutely fine. Once we've got the relevant jars, there may still be other jars that these need that we haven't got, and what will happen when you try and run this is it will say that a jar wasn't imported correctly. So it's a little bit of a fiddly process. The best way of doing this is once you've downloaded the jars, if you take all of the jars in a specific folder that you're using. So the 3 folders that I'm using are the standard lightweight Java gaming library folder. We're using the GLFW folder, and we're using the OpenGL folder. And then this java.nio is an internal one, so it's not a problem. I can actually show you the folders that we're using here. Okay, so we're using this folder, so all of the jars in here. We are using this one, and we're using OpenGL. So those 3 folders are the ones that we're using to create this code. The best way that I've seen in order to get all of the relevant files that you need is you take all the files in each individual folder. So everything in the GLFW folder, everything in the OpenGL folder, you put it into what's called a directory in IntelliJ. So I have a folder attached to this project called libs, and that contains all of the jars from each of the 3 folders that I just discussed. So any internal dependencies are dealt with. I'll run the code actually. I'll show you what it is that this is actually doing, and you might get a sense of why we're not going down this route. Bearing in mind that this code is 120 lines with this many dependencies, and this is all it creates. Now, you know, it's slightly better, you know, the positioning on the screen, for example, the color, but still, like, you know, it took us, what, 6 or 7 lines to make a JFrame, and this solution takes up a hell of a lot. I will say that this has so much more functionality. Like, I don't even know what the memory stack is, memory util. I think from what I've read, the OpenGL is like graphics processing, so it's used for 2D and 3D rendering and that kind of thing. So this will have a lot of extra features that you can implement off the back of this. So using this code, you can then put in a 2D image, for example, probably much more easily than you can if you were trying to build that from just JFrame. So this, if you use this as a base, it's a much stronger base than JFrame. However, it's just so complicated. And you know, they say, I was reading the documentation and they was talking about how, like, even before you get into lightweight Java gaming library, you should learn OpenGL, you should learn JLFW, you should learn OpenCL, OpenAL. I can give you a brief intro. So GLFW is the equivalent of JFrame, so it's the window. OpenGL is, like I said, the graphics. I think it might even be Open Graphics Language, possibly. I might give that a quick Google. OpenCL is Open Computing Language, and that's used for parallel processing and multi-processors and that kind of thing. So it's like, it's getting the most out of your CPU. So if code can be partitioned off and processed by different cores and that kind of thing, that's my understanding of how the OpenCL language works, or kind of what it's used for. OpenGL, what does it stand for? Doesn't say. OpenG. It's give me a definition, but it hasn't given me the actual meaning. Yeah, okay, it's the Open Graphics Library. I will say all of the open ones mean that they're open source. That's my understanding of that. So you can view the source code of how it all works. OpenGL apparently is like a really, really strong standard. It's been around for ages, and it's quite complex from what I've heard. It sounds to me like lightweight Java gaming library brings together, you know, GL, FW, OpenGL, OpenCL, OpenAL. OpenAL, by the way, is the audio language for games. And so the Java library kind of sits on top of that, on top of all these existing platforms, and then it brings it together for a full comprehensive gaming solution, if you like. So it makes it a really steep learning curve. And the main big reason, because obviously, you know, this could create something absolutely fantastic. You know, Minecraft is what this is based off of. Let's use this library in order to build Minecraft. So it's an incredibly powerful tool, and no doubt, because of its popularity, it is streamlined massively. So the processes are as simple as possible for developers. Do you know what I mean? It's very easy to pick it up and use it right off the bat. But for the level of complexity that we want, you know, the only sort of argument, the only really heavy duty graphical, if you can call it that, heavy duty graphical thing, is making an image scroll down the screen. And that's it. You know, we're displaying an image, that's easy. Java's got image classes and that kind of thing. So this is very much overkill for what it is that we want to do. I mean, animations maybe, but even then, like, it's going to be stuff like a splash screen. It's not going to be like a 2D platformer with like shaders and camera angles and all of that. You know, do you know what I mean? Like, there's so much more that goes into a game than a board game. Do you know what I mean? Like an actual video. This is built for actual video games as opposed to just you know, a game of Connect 4. So it is very, very overkill. Very much overkill. This, by the way, this code that you're looking at now is the standard, like the base example that they give on the website. So if you type, like getting started in LWJGL, sorry, I should just call it the lightweight Java gaming library. That's easier. The acronym sounds horrendous. If you're getting started in this, this is the code they give you. So obviously you can see it's like coded, it's commented out and this kind of thing. If you sat for about an hour, maybe a couple of hours, you did a bit of reading on this. If on top of that you already knew how GL, FW, and OpenGL and that kind of thing already worked, life would be, you'd be fine doing all of this. So that's kind of where we're up to. So yeah, we're not going to be using an API. If any of you, like I said, if any of you are interested in doing this, first of all, comment down below, because this to me looks very exciting. It looks very complicated, but it does look very exciting, and it's something that I would quite like to learn more about. So we could develop a platformer, or something, even if it's just more like an artsy game. So something we could build like 3D cubes and that kind of thing, and like change the colors. Like you have create like mathematical algorithms to change the colors, or that kind of thing. So something that isn't necessarily a game, but it looks good. So we could do all sorts, but for now we're gonna keep it simple. So all of this you're gonna have to say goodbye to, and we're just gonna go back to our bog standard jframe. So but yeah, if you have any questions, or like I said, if you got any reading, if you want to do any reading, start on OpenGL. That's what they recommend. GLFW, and start on OpenCL and OpenAL. Once you've kind of, I don't know how they work. Maybe you can just pick them up and use them independently of lightweight Java gaming library. Like maybe you could come up with some projects with them on their own. So that might be something we could look into. That's certainly something that I could consider actually. Instead of using this full gaming library, we could just use the GLWF API to create our window. That's a possibility. It's an alternative to JFrame. But again, is it overkill? I'm not too sure. It feels a bit overkill. Anyway, that's all I've got for you. I hope you've enjoyed the video. And if you like the sound of a video game, then please do comment, smash the like button. Let me know, because once this once the graphics project's done, obviously I want to build more projects in the future. So if you guys want to come up with some suggestions for that'd be greatly appreciated. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.